Hey, what's up everyone? It's Justin. It is January 17th and it is too cold for me to go outside and ride today. So in the meantime, I just got my brand new Sprocket delivered. I got the Odyssey 28t Sprocket with the Sprocket guard, and I was rocking a 28t Sprocket already. I had the Sunday 28t Sprocket, which I picked up for really cheap, and I'm pretty sure I bent it. So I figured I'd go ahead and get one with a Sprocket guard this time to throw on there, and we're gonna get it installed. And I figured I might as well record it and show you all how to put a new Sprocket on your bike. So let's get this installed so we're ready for the next session. Since it's so cold out, I'm actually gonna bring my bike into the house, throw some towels down and install it inside, but I figured I'd open this up. So this is the Odyssey 28t Sprocket with the Sprocket guard. And we got the adapters for the different size spindles depending on what size cranks you're running. So let's go ahead and get this installed. So for tools you're gonna need something to remove your back wheel so you can get your chain off. And then I got my Allen wrenches so I can get my cranks loosened and off. And then I also have the tool to get my cranks out if I need to. So I may need this, I may not, and then I have a wrench to tighten this down if I need to. First things first, we gotta get the wheel loosened so we can get the chain off of the sprocket. Step one, let's get this loosened up. And I do have chain tensioner, so let me get these. Okay. There we go. My chain's a bit tight, but we're good. So next we're gonna loosen up the crank arms, and I have 3-piece cranks, which means that I can take off each piece separately. You may have 2-piece cranks, which just means your arm is connected to the spindle instead of being 3 separate pieces, but should pretty much be the same process either way. But we gotta get this crank arm off so we can take the sprocket off. Yep. And see, this is what I mean by 3 pieces. So this is 1 piece, the spindle's number 2, and then this other crank arm is number 3. So if you have a 2-piece crank, it would just be 1 crank arm comes off, and then the other one will be the spindle with the crank arm all connected. So having the 3-piece cranks makes this really easy because all I have to do is take off this bolt so I can put on my new sprocket. And one thing I did not mention when I took this off, there is this other piece. This is that adapter. This is very important. You need this piece in here because that's what clears up the excess space in there. Because if you don't have this, which I did the first time I ever swapped out a sprocket, I did not put that in there. You'll put it all together, you'll go to crank, and it's gonna feel like your chain is slipping, and it feels so terrible, and you're gonna risk damaging your parts. So make sure you have this adapter, which will be on the spindle like this, and it will fit right into the sprocket. So now to get this off, it's literally as simple as just loosening this bolt. And there we go. So we got my sprocket, and let's see. Just trying to see if I can see the bend in it. It looks decent. If it does have a bend, it's probably pretty minor. I do want one with the guard since I am doing more grinds and I'm trying to do crank arm grinds and stuff like that. So, yep, so we're gonna swap this guy out for the new one. All right, so we got the new sprocket. It's gonna line up just like that. So we'll just go ahead and throw this in there. Okay, and then I'm gonna grab the new spacer. So it comes with 2 different spacers because there's a 19mm spindle, which is what I got. So that's gonna be this one. Or They also have, I believe it's a 22 millimeter spindle, which you would need this bigger one for. See, yeah, that one's too big. So we're gonna use the 19 millimeter adapter. It goes on just like that. And then this should just, if you want, you can even put it in there if you do it straight. Like that. And then you want to make sure you get this lined up. So make sure you get them exactly opposite. Even if you think you got it, double check. Yeah, so like right now, I was like, that looks pretty good. Nope, it's off. It's off. Yeah, it may take you a couple tries, but make sure you have them lined up. If you have it off, you'll have one crank arm like this and the other one's gonna be like that. So make sure they are exactly lined up. But yeah, so I think that's looking good. Once you got that, now we're just gonna put the bolt back in, tighten it up. And if you tighten it too tight, it's not gonna wanna move, but you also need it tight because then your cranks will fall off. So just, yeah, it's a fine balance. Make sure that side's tight, yep. And we're good. And also, like, the nice thing about my cranks being the 3-piece cranks too is I could set this up for either side. It's got the hole on both crank arms, so I could be left hand or right hand drive, which I am set up for right hand drive. But yeah, so now all we have to do is put the chain back on and set our wheel and we're good to go. Get the chain back on, which is just put it on the sprocket and then boom, we're on. And now it just comes down to tightening my wheel and getting it all centered back in between my brake pads and everything. And then I'll be ready to go for the next session. I also have a wheel wedge, which is not needed, but it does help get your tire centered a bit easier for adjusting it. So throw that in there, throw that in there. Chain tensioners set up so they are now tightened against the wheel. And back it off a little bit once it's tight. There we go. I like a little bit of play in my chain like that if I can get it like that. Pop the wedge out. Make sure we're not rubbing on the brake pads, and then this is where you do your final adjustments with your brakes to make sure everything's all dialed in, but we should be good to go right here. And finally, once it's all done, you just want to go through and make sure you don't have any really tight spots. It's really hard to get it perfectly balanced, but when you're tightening your back wheel, if you tighten it equally on each side, it should stay pretty balanced. And last thing you want to do is give it a quick test ride. You want to make sure everything feels right when you're cranking and everything like that. So let's see. All right, we're ready to go for the next session. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If this helped you out, please drop a like, a subscribe, and if there's any other parts that you need help fixing on your bike, drop a comment down below and I'll see if I can make a video to help you out. But until next time, I hope you have an amazing day and I'll catch you all in the next one.